Well, hello, hello, hello. Much love to you all. May God bless you all. Hit that like button, share this out. We're going to go over some things today. The ship is crashing here in the United States. Many reports we're going to go over from Tonga having a huge earthquake all the way to a mysterious illness that was happening on an airplane. So please hit that like button and share this out. So, in Tonga, which has been having a lot of earthquakes lately, been doing a lot of reports on Tonga on this channel. Guys, keep your eyes on this because the last time it went off, it caused a lot of changes. And this is another predominant 6.0 that has happened at a volcano that when it exploded, it was like a bomb going off. So I don't know how many more this volcano can take before eventually it's going to erupt again. This 6.0 could have been a little higher. You know how they downplay it. 66,000 people said they felt a light shaking. 41,000 said it was weak. But once we go down here, you can look at this graph here. This is a lot of seismic activity that is happening in this region. Some pretty predominant seismic activity as of late is just continuing to show signs of we could be in for seeing this erupt once again. So Australia has had this cold streak that continues to hit here, record level lows, widespread frost all the way up to August 2nd. They're supposed to be having some very, very cold temperatures there. One unique fact about Australia, a lot of the animals there are only found in that ecosystem. A lot of the animals, unless you go to a zoo, but they're not naturally here, of course, you won't find some of these animals in Australia in any other country. So this country is not used to this type of weather. And especially in the long periods of time that it's been happening. I'm not saying there hasn't been times that they've had some cold weather, but on average, it doesn't get like this. So they're plummeting to near below seasonal averages here as they're having frosty mornings. And definitely for all my brothers and sisters that watch out there in Australia, keeping everyone in prayers worldwide, of course, but I know that their ecosystem over there is not used to this type of stuff for this amount of time as well. Some places getting down to 24.8 degrees Fahrenheit. It's negative 4 degrees Celsius. Some down all the way to 21.2. So just know we're keeping you guys in our prayers. Stay warm. Also, this is what we were talking about earlier. I remember when when BRICS first came out, a lot of people said this wasn't going to affect the economy. It really looks like in the long run, it is actually affecting us as more countries are switching to BRICS. The U.S. Central Bank hits $1 trillion in losses. So what does this mean for the dollar? Doesn't look good with a country that's already economically in a decline so badly that it doesn't really look like there's any outcome of it's going to get any better. Amid the BRICS ongoing de-dollarization initiative, the U.S. Central Bank has officially hit more than $1 trillion in losses, which could have mass impact on the dollar. Indeed, the Federal Reserve has seen its paper losses into more than $100 billion in actual losses, guys. This is a lot of loss, suffering a lot of loss. So, just I don't get where people don't see this country is in some trouble, not just financially, but in many ways. The country has consistently been fighting off mounting national debt, which has been going on for some time, with many forecasting a debt crisis in 2030. It wouldn't surprise me by 2030 if we have a huge financial decline, maybe even before then, with the way things are looking. But the U.S. Federal Reserve reaches $100 billion in actual losses as the BRICS continues coming for the dollar. Many people have done away with the dollar throughout this year. So many new reports almost daily coming up about the U.S. dollar. This is why the ship seems to be crashing here, guys. They had reported that the U.S. national debt interest payments will surpass 1.14 trillion this year. That would constitute more than 76% of all collected income tax. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. And it also explains why we are seeing such increases in everything, guys, and only going to get worse. So, this mysterious biohazard on United Airlines flight was diverted as passengers were asking for masks as the crew was vomiting. Seemed like, some chaos on the plane. The United Airlines flight was diverted after an onboard biohazard left crew members vomiting and passengers asking for masks during this time. Flight 2477 was bound for Boston from Houston George Bush Intercontinental Airport on Sunday morning, but was forced to touch down early in Washington, D.C. so the plane could undergo a deep cleaning, as the radio traffic control probably sounded very, very panic mode. Many things we've seen on planes lately. People saying shapeshifters on the planes, and now you got crew vomiting over some biohazard that's happening. You can only imagine this caused massive alarm. So, they were to land all the way up here, but they had to land in Washington, D.C. They had to make a sudden stop. Whatever had happened on this, I don't know, but a lot of people were asking for masks, and I'm pretty sure we're never going to get to the bottom of what this biohazard was. But to top all that off, I really think they're covering something up right now with a lot of people having similar symptoms of things that are happening throughout the whole United States and possibly the whole world. I know a lot of people have been experiencing dizziness, up in blood pressure, just extreme tiredness. I think we're in for another wave of something, guys. So keep your eyes on the prize, Jesus Christ. Because, guys, we got to apply our lives into a prayer life daily, pleading the blood of Christ amongst us, because we are in very perilous times. As the world gets more depraved, population control, as you know, the Georgia Guidestones that were tore down talked about population control, but more U.S. women are getting permanently sterilized because they never want to have children. Right now, a lot of young girls that are doing this might think that it's all pretty fun and games and playing along with the way society is wanting them to play along. But in the long run, they can get married and end up seriously reconsidering that they made a dramatic mistake in their lives. God created man and woman to create human beings, not for us to sterilize ourselves. Not just this permanently getting sterilized, but a lot of people are getting sterilized from also getting something back in 2020 when a lot of things were hitting. We're seeing a lot of attack, not just towards the Bible, but towards life in general, that people don't want life. We need to choose life over death. Honestly, the Bible also talks about it. Choose this day, whether life or death. And people are choosing that they want to kill the inside of their body to be sterilized, to not even have children. This shows you how depraved this next generation is, that one day could be your president of the United States or a prime minister of your country. This new generation, if we're still here by then, this generation is very depraved. They have even the ones that go to church. I did a video, I think it was last year. They were asking some of the kids in this generation that go to church if they believed that the Holy Spirit was real, and a lot of them don't. That's a problem. When the church doesn't have the Holy Spirit, you don't have the oil. You're not going to be able to discern from right and wrong. Guys, this is an attack at having families, at having life, at having anything that consists of what God said for us to do in the creation law. Genesis 1 says, replenish and multiply. We are to multiply. We're to be fruitful and multiply, my brothers and sisters. Since they can't have Roe v. Wade, let's just go sterilize ourselves. This was a study from young adults from 18 to the age of 30 that were looking to be sterilized because they don't even want to have children, guys. It says that 58 sterilization procedures for women or about 5.31 procedures a month per 100,000 people. This is nearly double the rate of the procedures per month that it used to be. So it's doubling in rate of people wanting to make sure they can't have kids. A 25-year-old nursing student named Jareen McKay was recently asked why she decided to get sterilized, and she rattled off a long list of reasons why she never wants to get pregnant. Probably all of them, I can just imagine somebody wanting to pull their hair out because they're looking at things that don't even have anything to do with the truth. But a series of it popped in her mind, The Horrors of Childbirth. And this sounds like some type of book that the LGBTQ writes. The risk associated with pregnancy, a flighty potential partner. I mean, that's just what happens when people don't get to know the person they're with in a world that just they have sex and then they say we're together. That's why there's so many people that up and leave in marriages, because the marriages were never rooted in the first place. Abortion care restrictions are also on her list of fears. First of all, just don't have sex if you're worried about abortion fears. I mean, that fixes it all. Just don't even have it. But the first doctor she consulted refused to remove her fallopian tubes. Because honestly, I think back in the day, it used to be said that it's honestly risky to do this to somebody that's never had a child in the first place. So, but she said she insisted she might change her mind after meeting her soulmate. The problem is if you already went through this, you can't reverse it. There's things that are unreversible that people do to their bodies. So like her, there is a lot of people that are starting, up to 47% of those younger than 50, according to this research study, don't want to have children. When the world does not populate, that's a scary, scary sign of what's to come in today's world. So let's look at the smoke map and the fire map here in the ongoing burning West Coast, as it is ever so on fire. And look at the smoke map. Just, man. Also, a lot of people aren't talking about it, but Alaska's on fire as well, too. But this is a pretty big smoke map. I don't have the world map. There is fires going on in other places. I'm only doing the U.S. right now. But you ought to realize that this huge smoke cloud is eventually it's already starting to reach over almost to the UK, as you can tell on the map here. But this is a lot of fires that are going on and growing and don't show any signs of stopping. So like I said earlier in this, there's two sides of the spectrum here in the United States. You're either stuck in fires and intense heat and you may not have fires, or you're stuck over here where I am at in the East Coast and it's raining all the time. But nevertheless, my brothers and sisters, keep our eyes on the prize, Jesus Christ. I will be live Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern to continue the book of Luke. We didn't do it last week, but we will be doing the book of Luke this coming up week. It's going to be chapter 14. Keep your eyes on the community tab, as they don't notify. And also on my front page of my YouTube has my Rumble, and it also has my backup channel, and it also has the Telegram. Telegram's another good way to get notified, and also to have some things that I share on there that I can't share anywhere else, or I just don't feel like making a video about certain things, because sometimes there can be too much going on, and you would almost have to make a video every hour on the hour, and then it would really get me away from biblical studies and being a husband and father. So my brothers and sisters, please hit that like button on your way out. Much love, and may God bless you.